what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for. This what you waiting for. Not much time, you can't waste no more. There's not much time, what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for. This what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting, 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 waiting for. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. It's what you're waiting for. Not much time, you can't waste no more. There's not much time, what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for. This what you waiting for. Not much time, you can't waste no more. There's not much time, what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for. This what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting for, waiting, 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 waiting for. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. It's what you're waiting for. Not much time, you can't waste no more. There's not much time, what you waiting for, waiting for, waiting for. This what you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to F1 Racing Club. My name is Junior1107, your commentator for today, better known as Cal Off Track. And today we're about to get into some serious racing action. But first, we have to go through qualifying. So we have 13 drivers with us at the moment. We're hoping to see a few more join us later down the line in qualifying to try and bump up the numbers and cause some more excitement as we go towards what will be a 22 lap race here at Spa-Francorchamps. I appreciate all of you joining in chat today. It's going to be a good one. As let's look at a couple of our drivers. So it is round 2 effectively for me. Looking at the actual racing, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's round 7 here at F1 Racing Club. And yeah, as I said, we're at Spa. And Spa is probably one of my favourite F1 tracks on the whole calendar. We've got a whole 19 corners, 2 DRS straights. And it's such a mix of like hard, tricky, winding corners and a couple of chicanes to tune in there. The bus stop chicane, no name corner, the corner we just went through with Iron Stormer in the Kick Sauber. It's going to be a good one here today. What I am aware of is I believe we have a penalty for F Crew, who is the V-Carb today. I think it was a 15-second time penalty. Let me just double check. Yeah, 15 seconds from what would have been around 6, I believe. Carried over to today. He's currently down in P... Where is he? P15? 16, 17, 18... Yeah, P15. Missed last week, so he didn't actually face the 15-second time penalty. But at the end of the day, he will have that. We also have the quaddy ban for, I believe... It was a Ferrari, but let me double check. We'll go to our penalties. It's somewhere around here. I do know my way around here somewhere. Yeah, quaddy ban will be for Ironstormer, so that's for the Kick Sauber. It's a Ferrari engine. I was close, but not that close. Anyway, talking about Ironstormer, he's got a quaddy ban, and he is actually doing a lap, which is interesting. I'm just trying to... It is him with the quaddy ban. Anyway, let's move away, shall we? Let's move away. So, Ironstormer's on a lap. We also have the Ferrari of Bulk on a lap. And he's going to get a nice toe down the back straight after a Rouge along Radion. Lovely through there to go into the chicane. Hits that apex very nicely there. Through turn 6 and 7. Comes out of 7 quite nice as well on the outside curve. Preparing himself for 8. Swing it around. Get the power down as early as you dare. Very, very nicely taken through there towards No Name Corner, also known as corner number 9. We then go towards Puon. Oh, is he going to go flat? No, a little lift there. Little lift. Doesn't look the quickest through Sector 2. See what we can do through Sector 3. It could be a setup. Could be a setup trying to lose the lower wings here in Spa-Francorchamps. But he is looking very aggressive towards the end of Sector 2 there. Maybe listening in the comms, trying to prove me wrong. I know people love to see that. But here goes the Ferrari now into the heart of Sector 3 now through 16 and 17. Absolutely flying through here is Bulk. Coming towards bus stop chicane. Tricky one to get your braking point right. Maybe slightly off missing that first apex, but the second apex hit very nicely as we come to the line. The Ferrari goes pole position for now with a 145.6, not too bad at all. Looking at Quake, he'll probably be our next drivers across the line. He is very, very fast and leads our championship drivers order, and he shows it now as he does a 143 flat, putting himself at the top. The McLaren of Werner, who's currently 4th in the drivers after a poor race last time out, gets himself up to P2. We know he got a DNF, I believe, last time out. Unfortunately for him, because he was doing such a good race. Artem, though, in the Aston Martin, gets himself up to P2. A lovely lap by him. Monkey up to P4. A lot of good laps being set by our drivers here today. That was Wolverine coming across the line there. In the Alpine up to P4. His teammate, Daft Tims, what can he do? As he comes around the final corner. ERS, DRS, everything he's got. I think he might be starting a hot lap. Yes, he is. So that is Daft Tims starting a hot, as he done 2 warm-up laps there. We'll look towards Rocky. What can he do in the McLaren? He comes into the pit lane. So a lot of drivers taking it slow. But you've got to be careful around Spa. It's a long, long lap to get around. And if you miss your window, you might not actually get a lap in. So you've got to be really, really careful. We look at Jack in the Haas car. He did invalidate his first lap. Has slowed down at this moment in time. Thought I saw someone jump up the grid order, but clearly not. But yeah, Jack goes into pit lane after his first attempt, as he did invalidate. Liam Raikkonen comes around the final couple of corners, also goes into pit lane. So a lot of drivers are banning their lap times early on here today. It's an interesting one. You've got to be really, really careful, as I said. And yeah, that is Evie into the pit lane as well. We look towards now Werner, who comes into pit lane. I believe all the drivers behind them, behind Werner, will go into pit lane. No, Quake stays out, so Quake comes to the line. The Williams as well of Monkey has stayed out on the Ferrari of Bulk. has also stayed out, going for another lap. So we'll follow Quake round. He is a great driver to follow through for a very fast lap. As he went through turn 1, up now towards Rouge and Radion. Absolutely flying here as he goes up the hill. DRS will be activated as we come around here. There's your little balls to tell you where it is. Tries to get a toe off the V-car, but the V-car was having none of it. Mr. F through there as we go towards the first chicane of this lap. Absolutely chucks it in, does Quake. He is throwing that Mercedes around, has so much trust in that beautiful silver arrow of his. Flying now through turn 8 towards No Name. The Aston Martin, the Mercedes, looking very fast, but he has put his battery onto a little bit of harvesting there, so maybe abandoning the lap, but he is looking quick as I jump away. But here he goes now through the heart of Sector 2. It looks like he might have abandoned his lap, but it does still look quite fast. But yeah, he has abandoned his lap by the looks of it, going in a little bit of a different gear to what you would expect. Monkey, let's look at him, also not planning on a lap, but it looks like Black has gone for a lap. Isn't actually going improving, but he is using some battery. Let's have a look as he comes through the start of Sector 3. It's flat out here, no DRS in Sector 3 until you get to the pit straights. You've just got to have that foot down all the way through 16, 17, up towards 18 where we are now, but the Ferrari does come into pit lane. A couple of our drivers going for out laps now, getting themselves ready for another lap. Some of them only getting their first laps under their belts. But, you know, it's all to play for. We're only 9 minutes left of the session, so we're about, 9 minutes in after an 18-minute qualifying session. So it's all going to change. Don't write anyone off the board just yet. Obviously, we have about 5 drivers. I can't count. We have 6 drivers yet to set a lap here today. So you'll never know. You'll never know. Who is next to set a lap? I'm trying to find someone as we have Darth Tibbs into pit lane. Wolverine comes to the line. Looks like he's improved. Stays in P4. He'll definitely want to look towards going again. Liam also comes around the final corner. He's starting his next or first flying lap as he abandoned the last one last time round. Did I just see someone jump on my timing sheet? Doesn't look like it. Looks like we've had a couple more drivers join us in today. We've got Back and Black in the Ferraris. Maybe they know each other. Back and Black. As I said last week, me and names don't go along well together. I try my best, but they don't go along well together. So I will try. McLaren though, Werner, he's starting his lap alongside, I think, F Crew behind him. No, it's not. It's a Willie. It's a Ferrari, Red Bull. I'll get it out one day. Promise. It's Evie who is starting his maybe final lap as we're getting to a couple near the end of the session here today. It is the V-Carb of F Crew though, who is coming around towards the bus stop chicane. He's our next driver to go through this tricky part of track as he comes towards the line. I think he'll be starting a hot lap here as he's gone a little bit slower than you expect. Oh no, he has gone P8. So up to P8 has the V-Carb gone, doing a 1:45.8. It's not too bad, not too bad at all. The Aston Martin of Artem as well, also starting another hot lap there in P2. Quake not too far behind. We see Cairo in the Williams going for his first flying lap here today. No, we don't. We see him going to the pit lane. And the McLaren of Rocky, he needs to get a lap under his belt. Only 7 minutes left of the session. Let's see what he does as he comes through the bus stop chicane. He swings it back towards the left. So he's going for a hot lap by the looks of it. What's it going to be? It's only good enough for P9 at the moment. 4.444 seconds off of Quake. That was Evie's teammate of Liam Raikkonen going up to P3 there. Not a bad lap at all. Only 2 tenths off of Quake is the Red Bull car. Very, very nicely done by Liam as the Haas car is also into pit lane. We look towards the Aston, I keep calling him an Aston Martin, it's Mercedes. Mercedes car of Quake going for his next hot lap. Started at the back last time out, maybe to give everyone else a chance. But today he's showing what he has got under that belt in that I keep calling Aston Martin a Mercedes car. It's a Mercedes. They share the same engine, but it is a Mercedes. Let's see what Werner can do though, as he comes to the line and gets himself up to P1. Let's see how long that will last, as we have a couple more drivers. Evie coming across the line has invalidated, that won't matter. Back in the Ferrari is coming across the line to start his final lap. So if Werner stays at the top for now, 5 minutes of the session, he's going to want to go again. He's going to have to go again, but it's not a bad lap time by the McLaren car. But he has been beaten, this time by Artem in the Aston Martin. I got the car right this time around. Artem up to P1 by 1/100th of a second to Werner. Very nicely done by the Aston Martin car there. We jump down on the pack. We try and find our next driver, and it'll be Liam, who is coming into pit lane by the looks of it. And then we have Werner's teammate, who was briefly at the top, coming through. And he looks like he's also coming to pit lane for now. A lot of drivers just getting themselves ready for the latter portion of this qualifying session. We have Quake coming through. The heart of Sector 3 in that Mercedes car will jump on board with that nice black halo as we come towards the bus stop chicane. Turn 18, and then 19. Foot down, pedal to the metal. Everything he's got left in that car. Gets himself a 142.5, 3/10 ahead of this Aston Martin on your screen for P1. Very nicely done by Quake. As Rum a Monkey are looking to set another lap time as it stands, going on another flying lap. We then look down our grid order to try and find someone else going for a hot. It looks like Werner's also come into pit lane. Yes, he has. A lot of drivers, as I said earlier on, needing to come in a little bit earlier to avoid this long lap time, screwing them up for getting a lap late on. We have the Aston Martin going slowly. I'd assume that'll be a lack of fuel. Yes, it is. As long as it gets out of the way of the the Haas car, no problem at all. And that is a Lee going by. Lee boy in the Haas car, flying towards the end of his out lap, getting himself ready for his first hot lap. Down in P16, back of the pack for now. Got a couple of drivers still yet to set a lap, including Lee's teammate of Jack Crossley, looking to set a lap time. So we'll follow Lee through for his hot lap here today then. ERS being deployed as we go up the hill towards Rouge and Radeon up the hill. It's quite a daunting task to go up blindly up a hill and get himself ready for the DRS. Straight there he goes, foot to the floor, up towards 8th gear now. And he is absolutely flying, is Lee, going purple in Sector 1 through the chicane. The start of Sector 2 towards Turn 7 will jump on board with Lee as we go towards Turn 8 here. Long sweeping right, heaping that wheel nice and steady. You don't want to end up understeering or oversteering through there as we go towards now what will be Puon. Swinging it through, foot to the floor, a little bit of a lift, and he goes wide, does Lee. Manages to not invalidate his lap time there, but he has gone slightly wide. Not what you want for the Haas car, but he has managed to keep it going. Let's see what he can do now as he continues through Sector 2 towards Turn 13, now 14. A little bit slow there, but the game says it's purple again. Lee looking fast as we fly towards now 16. Sector 3 we're in. Swing it slightly to the left. He's running out of battery as he goes towards Turn 17. And now up towards the Bus Chicane. Slam the brakes on as late as you there. Swing it in to the final few corners. And then pedal to the metal. Down the pit straight. Where's it going to put the Haas car? It's only good enough for P8. 1 minute 56 running this session. The Haas car needs to come back round again. You're looking at the Ferrari now, Bulk coming around the final few corners. He's down at P9, looking to start possibly another lap time as he comes to the line. Yes, it's only a 150, so he'll be starting a hot lap here right now. Looking at Rocky, also starting a hot lap. He's with Evie there, quite close behind, looking to get that slipstream, that little bit of a toe there, as the McLaren has dipped out of the way. There's the Alpine, maybe getting a little bit of racing action here in qualifying. That is Wolverine behind. Maybe it's not actually, maybe it's Darth Sims. As we see a spinner, we ride on board the Red Bull, just very quickly gets out of the racing line there. That was a little bit squeaky bum time, some would say. Darth Sims getting a lovely view of what just happened in front of him. But the Red Bull spinning through turn 1 there. And there he is in the background as the Alpine, a little bit slidey up the hill there. But bringing some action here in qualifying. Jack, though, goes up with a 1:45.5 for P9. 3 seconds off the pace. He'll definitely be looking to improve that lap time. We look towards the Alpine of Darth Sims' teammate of Wolverine. Up in P5 at the moment. Definitely needs to get some more time out of that Alpine if he's looking for a pole position. Currently 9/10 off the pace. Let's see what he can do. We jump down towards Lee, who is also starting his next lap time. The Williams of Cairo starts his final hot lap, and so does Werner. Red Bull of Liam starts. Oh, he won't. That's the end of qualifying, so Liam misses out to come across the line for his final lap. So we'll look towards the Ferrari. It'll be Bluck in P10 at the moment. Doesn't improve. Stays P10. F-Crew and Ironstormer didn't actually get a lap under their belt at the end of it. Unfortunately for them, they got a slow lap in, but not good enough to get them up the grid order. As it looks like Rocky will come across the final few corners to the line. A little bit wide there into turn 18. Let's see what he can do to the line. Doesn't look the quickest, and he does improve, but it doesn't improve him up the grid order, unfortunately for him. We see the Williams jumping out the way of who was the Red Bull of Evie. Stays down in P15 as we see Buck in the Ferrari going up to P5. Very nice from him. Let's see what Artem can do. Doesn't improve. Meaning Quake, who's coming to the pit lane in the session, will stay P1 for now. We look towards Darth Sims, who's abandoned his lap time. Let's see what Jack can do as he comes towards the end of his qualifying lap. I think he's abandoned it, as yes, he does come towards the line and maybe tries to get into pit lane there just about. Wolverine to the line is looking fairly fast. Can he beat the Ferrari who toppled him just a moments ago? Yes, he can. Up to P5, a purple sector 3 as well. Not a bad lap time by Wolverine. He got in the claws out, some would say. Pyro in the Williams will come to the line. What can he do? He's invalidated, so it doesn't matter what he can do. It's down to Werner, and he goes up to P2 there in the McLaren car. Very nicely done. Lee comes into pit lane, and that is it for qualifying here today, ladies and gentlemen. Quake and Werner, your first 1 and 2, followed by Artem, Liam, Wolverine, Buck in the Ferrari, Monkey in P7. P8 was given to Darth, Lee at P9, Jack P10, Block in P11. At the end of it all, F-Crew gets P12. We need to note he has got that extra 15-second penalty after his finishing order in the race. Rocky will get P13, Iron P14, and Evie finished off our timing sheet of P15. But Cairo not scoring any timing boards on the moment here today. Unfortunately for him, will stay in P16 at the end of this qualifying session. But what a qualifying session it was. For now, though, there is your starting order. I'm going to send you to the Grand Prix up next screen. Hopefully it will work, because I don't really know if it will. I haven't done it before. And I'll see you for round 7 here at F1 Racing Club. there. And the Aston Martin of Artem stays P2 getting ahead of Werner there in front of Liam Raikkonen. There's a Ferrari of Buck in P5, and then Daft Tim's trying to fight him as we go up towards the soaking wet Raidillon and Rouge, absolutely flying through there. The Alpine duo now very, very close together. We look behind them, Evie and Jack going hammer and tong for P9. Oh, Cairo comes out of nowhere there in the Williams to get past both of them. Absolutely lovely move. We see a crash though. It is a V-carb, and we have a full course caution bringing out the VSC. The Racing Bulls, that's F crew. We knew he was going to suffer a 15-second time penalty at the end of the session. At least he's not going to suffer that here today. But we are a little bit damp here at Spa. I say a little bit. It's looking quite damp indeed. It's definitely caused some issues with the rain falling for our drivers. But we're green flag running again. Enough of me waffling. Let's look at the racing action. Quake goes wide through Puon. Artem now trying to look if he can make a move happen as he's absolutely flying. Quake struggling with this wet weather. We look towards Liam. He's all over the back of that McLaren car there, trying to make a move happen. Looking very, very fast is that Red Bull car. We look towards Lee in the Haas car looking fast. He looks a little bit towards the inside of Daft Tim. Goes wide. Goes very, very wide and gives Wolverine the chance to make a move back, and he has done. Nice and easily there. But what can the Haas car do as he's fighting with Block there in the Ferrari car. Oh, he's really, really close. Squeezed off the track is the Ferrari car, but he keeps his foot in. The Haas car of Jack having to stay down in P13. We jump up the grid order. We now look at Werner and Liam going hammer and tong. The Ferrari car of Back trying to get involved. What can he do? Is the Ferrari trying to send it around the outside? Liam on the inside trying to get past the McLaren car. Daft Tim's as well trying to stick his nose in if he dares, and he has dared so. Very, very brave by all four drivers. The McLaren having so much trust in the Red Bull and Ferrari behind to keep it within the grey stuff. The Daft Tims as well going a little bit wide up the hill there. We have Jack and Iron into pit lane already with front wing damage by the looks of it. That's unfortunate for them as they come back out of pit exit, getting themselves back into this race. Not what you want early on in the session. Our drivers here at the moment in F1 Racing Club are getting themselves into a little bit of a rhythm. What you need to do, obviously, in your F1 sim racing is after a couple of laps, get into that mindset of it's a long race, it's a long way to go, and what can I do later down the line that isn't going to be affected by what I do now? And that's what our drivers are doing already. The wet weather is going to cause some interest, but obviously they need to keep themselves on their toes, as the wet weather will still cause some interesting moments at the moment already. I believe the weather is forecast to improve as well, so keep an eager eye on that as our drivers will be flying through on the intermediates for now. We're going through the heart of Sector 3 now towards the bus stop chicane. Quake with a 1.3 second lead, looking fast, but Artem, I'm sure he would love to have a say about that, won't he? Lerner close behind. A little bit of a train forming here at the front all the way down to pretty much the back of the pack is this train, as we see the Alpine duo fighting off the Haas of Lee, sending it up the inside is Lee on Daft Tims. Very brave, but very nicely done by Lee Boy there. Up to P7 goes the Haas car. What a beautiful, beautiful move that was by Lee. He's now going to try and size up the Alpine in front of him, but he's got to be careful because he's got an Alpine behind him still, and that Williams. What can they do? The Williams maybe looking for a move on the outside of Daft. Tries his best, maybe trying to make a switchback. Doesn't work out for Cairo at the moment, as Daft is looking fast, trying to get past Lee. Very, very close between these boys here at the moment through the heart of Sector 2. We look up towards the front of the pack. Werner is right on the tail of Artem, and it is close between these two. Quake has pulled away a little bit as Artem goes very, very wide through Puon. The Aston Martin car is, I believe, a reserve, as he isn't actually on my Drivers' Championship order. Yeah, so that is the Aston Martin car joining in for the Aston Martin team, for Adrian Newey here today, trying to put on a show, as they like to do, the Aston Martin team. What can Werner do about that, though? We know he had last time out had a little bit of a upset, so he's looking for an improvement here at Spa. Quake saying the fastest lap of this session so far. Looking very fast is that Mercedes car. But he's doing what he needs to do to stay ahead of the Aston Martin. Obviously, he doesn't want to be too close, because then he's got to worry about him a little bit more. But if he's got that gap, he can just get himself into that right headspace to get himself into that rhythm that he needs to be in during this portion of the race. But we're looking at our track now on a lap 4. And the rain has stopped falling, meaning this track is going to get very, very warm very quickly, as we have 15 F1 cars absolutely hammering it around. And who's hammering it quite fast at the moment is Evie, as he goes to the inside of the Alpine of Daft Tims. Daft Tims dropping to P10 as they kind of majestically slide through the chicane, as the Red Bull goes up to P9 through the chicane of turn 6 and 7. Very nicely done. But as I was saying, yeah, the track, as it stopped raining, is going to dry very quickly. These tyres will overheat very, very quickly, and it's going to cause them some issues on the intermediate. They're going to start to burn up very quickly, and they'll begin to suffer from just overheating, that graining. They'll just pile on, so you've got to be careful now. A lot of drivers may be opting for the dry tyres this lap. Let's have a look towards Quake, who is our race leader at the moment, number 2. Bring up a little bit of debris as he goes over the curb in the sector 3. Towards the final few corners, what does he think? If you stay out, you're in a little bit of a tricky window if it dries drastically. But he has stayed out. But the Aston Martin of Artem has decided to come in. Quake's gone quickest, Liam's come in, and so has Buck. Wolverine, Werner, and Quake have all stayed out. We've got Lee into the pit lane. We've got Evie and Daft Tims into the pit lane. Cairo stays out. Monkey comes in. Black stays out because his teammate's in the pit lane. And we look then a little bit further down the grid order to our drivers on the intermediate. But the real question is, what do the pit drivers go for? Artem goes hard. Comes out side by side nearly with Black, as here comes Black right alongside. We're going to go up Black slightly onto the grass. The Aston Martin of Artem having that extra grip out of T1, but up the hill. Here comes a Ferrari car, almost a little bit like here comes Sebastian Vettel. But no, the Ferrari car not having the pace on the Aston Martin, as Artem is looking fast on that hard tyre, clearly showing that the hard tyre maybe is the right tyre to be on. Maybe the medium, but it's definitely dry now, as we see Black going very wide there out of turn 7. There's lots of moves happening. Rocky falling down the grid, or Evie and Daft Tims going absolutely at it. Here goes Daft Tims towards the inside of turn 8. Absolutely sends it on the Red Bull. And what a move that was by the Alpine car for only P11. But it was a beautiful move made by Mr. Daft Tims. Absolutely class, showing the field how it is done. Black at the front in P6 of this fight on the intermediates. His teammate on the mediums, 2 drives behind. A Red Bull over Liam in a bit of a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. I'm sure he'll be looking to try and dispatch or Black, but Black on that intermediates, yeah, as we can see, is trying to hold up the Red Bull car, maybe trying to help his teammate a little bit. As we have the top 3 into pit lane. Wouldn't be surprised if Cairo, does come in, and he is in. But where does Artem come out at the end of all this chaos? Purple in sector 3 goes the Aston Martin car. He looks fast, but there is the race leader. Before all this drying up happened, the Aston Martin car has come out behind Werner. He's behind the McLaren car after that, but he's looking fast. There's lots of move across our grid order. The Aston Martin but he's going to have a little bit warmer tyres as we go across towards the DRS straight. It'll be activated at this current moment in the race. Foot to the floor for both drivers, but the Aston Martin gets himself up into P2. 3.5 seconds behind Quake, ahead of him, but he's back ahead of the McLaren car, who's come out on the very cold McLaren tyres. Not sure what's happened here, but we've got a little bit of an ad break coming through. If you haven't got the ad break, lucky you. But we are back again here in F1 Racing Club. We look down the grid order. We have Lee trying to defend off Daft Tims. All of these drivers, Evie's there as well, have been on this side for about a lap now, and maybe a lap and a half. So their tyres will be getting up to temp on that hard. Going to be showing some serious pace. But the Red Bull, with a little bit of front wing damage, is going to cause him some serious issues. But there goes the Alpine car. Putting a nose on the inside, on the corner after Pouon, which is turn 12. Then towards turn 13, we jump on board. Very close. We see the Red Bull in his wing mirrors. These boys giving it some serious fighting. Rocky Freeman is our second driver to suffer from a 3-second time penalty. Daft Tims also having that 3-second time penalty earlier on. And a lot of fast laps getting set back in the Ferrari car. Both Ferrari cars going onto mediums. Showing some insane performance here at the moment. As the medium tyres is looking optimal. As the McLaren, not the McLaren, of the Ferrari of Black is looking fast as well. Gonna have to try and close his way up the grid order as he is a little bit further behind than most drivers. But we're looking up towards the McLaren car of Werner, who's right behind the Aston Martin. And so this fight continues between Evie and Daft Tim side by side down the back straight. DRS for our Daft, and he does come out ahead at the end of that straight. Close between these two, but number 73 comes out on top as we come out of the DRS straight. Now towards turn 8, swinging it through does the Alpine car, but we have a yellow flag behind, and that is Black in the Ferrari car. Maybe struggling a little bit coming out of turn 7 there, as Black is just having to be very careful on the power, cheating around in P12 there. A bit of a DRS train also forming up for P2. Werner, Buck and Liam all involved in this train as we jump on board right next to Liam's head. I wonder what's going through that Red Bull driver's head in P5, as we do see P2, 3 and 4 ahead of him there as we go through the bus stop chicane on towards what will be lap 8. And it is the fastest lap for the Red Bull car. So clearly whatever's going through his head is some serious speed. He is looking very, very fast. And so is Daft Tims as we jump on board next to his head. Go towards the camera down the pit straight. The Alpine car looking very fast. Taking the inside line compared to Lee, who took an outside line. But that depends on the exit speeds. What you want and need as you go up the hill. The Haas car is looking like he might be okay, but the Alpine car looking very, very fast as well. Here they go. That tree's out of the way, almost like a Spy Sports camera. Let's see what the Alpine can do towards the chicane. Oh, it was close there. The Haas car goes off the track, and the Alpine comes out ahead in P8. Daft Tims, who had a poor stint on the intermediates is looking very, very fast now on that hard tyre. Chipping his way up the grid order, closer and closer towards his teammate Wolverine, who's in a world of his own, 4 seconds ahead. 4 seconds behind, we have a yellow flag, and it is for Lee Boy, who has spun out of No Name, gets himself turned back around, but that's not what you want. Rejoining the track now, trying to cover off Black, but has to give it in, as he was off track. Unfortunate for him, with a little bit of front wing damage, has dropped well down the grid order, all the way down to P12. Not what you want for that Haas car. Quake is looking fast as ever up at the front of this grid. At the moment, Quake is commanding this race. He has it under his belt. It will be 2 race wins on the bounce if he can wrap this one up here today. He's only 9 laps in, so you can't say anything really just yet, but he does look very, very fast and knows that there's more points he can gain on his title rival of Wolverine at the moment. Obviously back in the Ferrari, it's in P4, and Werner is also close behind the title fight. But Back and Werner, 2 of our title rivals, going at it, and that is Werner up to P3. What a move made by the McLaren there. Absolutely beautifully done. Werner now maybe trying to look towards the Aston Martin of Artem. The reserve driver stepping in today is very, very quick. Showing what he's got is the Aston Martin car. Maybe looking for a full-time seat later down the line, but we look down the grid order towards the Haas team. They are currently 13 and 14, and less than 2 tenths separates them at that moment. But they're now just trying to get themselves through Sector 2 on lap 9. Maybe trying to work together if they can, try and close themselves up towards the further point positions of maybe P9, 10 and 11 if they can do. But once again, there is your race leader, Girth Quake, or Girth _ Quake, absolutely flying, setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, going through turn 1 at the moment. He's in a very good, very, very good window, of about 5.4 seconds to Artem behind. I'm sure the Mercedes car will have a little bit less stress going through his mind at the moment, but obviously there's still that little bit of a worry of what could go wrong. It's what goes through your mind. It's not what you want to go through your mind, but it's what does go through your mind as an F1 driver. Is what could go wrong, and that's what he'll be feeling at the moment as we look towards the fight behind him. Buck and Werner going at it once again for P3. It's a podium position. There's a lot to play for here. It's a trophy, and the Spa trophy is not one to be sniffed at. Number 47, absolutely flying, but he's got to fly fast enough to get past that McLaren car. The Aston Martin, though, of Artem is probably going to be fairly happy with these 2 boys fighting behind him. It's going to give him a chance to try and pull away a little bit of a gap, knowing maybe that Quake has got too much of an advantage ahead of him. He's got to try and defend now. But if he doesn't have to defend from the 2 behind because they fight so hard, maybe that's what he needs. As Werner is actually out the DRS zone of Artem as it stands. We'll come around the detection point just before the bus stop chicane. That's about the time when our drivers will get to their braking point. So let's look towards the timing sheet and where the McLaren is. We have a yellow flag and it's full course caution, and that is a safety car here in Spa. We have a lot of drivers now jumping into pit lane. We have Artem, we have Werner, we have Back. That's 3 drivers already in. Quake, though, missed that window as he was already past pit entry and has been caught by Bernd Mailander in the safety car. The Aston Martin safety car will catch 1 driver as the rest of them come into pit lane. That is most unfortunate for Quake, as all the other drivers are going to close up behind him, meaning that Quake will have to do a last to first challenge probably unless the other drivers get a delta, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it. So yeah, Quake has been royally stuffed over, some would say. Although, it does give me a nice chance to breathe, as I haven't had enough time to breathe so far this race, as it has been an absolute blinder so far here in F1 Racing Club. A lot of drivers looking powerful, and obviously they're now on a fresh set of tyres from what they were on beforehand. They're going to be looking to try and improve where they were before the safety car with this fresh tyre. And obviously Quake, you'd expect, will come into pit lane for a fresh set of tyres. But who knows? Who knows? It's going to be an interesting one as we look towards the heart of Sector 2, near the end of Sector 2 actually, as we go towards Sector 3 now. I'd love to see if anyone's got any predictions of how this race will end now with their mid-race safety car. Bert Meinlander having to come out of his nice warm little window of the end of the pit lane, as he likes to sit there. Having to come out onto track and get involved. He's now on the racing line, showing the drivers how it's done, some would say. But Quake, let's see if he stays on racing line as we go through the final few corners, or if he comes into pit lane here at the moment. So, Quake stays out. Interesting. So, a lot of our medium drivers will be going towards the end of this race. Maybe Quake getting the disadvantage here at the moment in the F1 Racing Club is trying to aim possibly to go to the end on that hard tyre. He's got 10 laps left, which doesn't sound like much, but here in Spa, it can be a little bit of a tricky one. Really can be. The safety car is a lot slower than we're used to here around Spa. Obviously, our drivers are giving it some serious speed. Obviously, they're in that rhythm, as we were speaking about earlier on, that they get into, just to get into that calm portion. But at the moment, it's a lot slower. And Quake on the 6-lap old hards, Monkey also on 7-lap old hards, with Back and both the Ferrari cars on a fresh hard and everyone else on fresh mediums. It's going to be an interesting one. The pack is basically put back to 0, so who knows what will happen at the end of this session. It's effectively a sprint to the end here in F1 Racing Club. We'll have about 9 laps to go through of will be hard racing action. But the real question is whether Quake does decide to come into pit lane here today, or whether he'll risk it and stay out for what could be a absolute strategy call of the season. But it's going to be risky. Obviously, our medium tyre runners are going to feel the deg towards the end, but Quake, he might feel it earlier on. I don't know. It's going to be a tricky one. It really is. But the safety car looks to be staying out for another lap. So here we go. Yellow flag, full course caution for another lap. It was Lee Boy who actually DNF'd in Sector 2, I believe. We saw him spinning earlier on around No Name Corner. And obviously, clearly having some serious issues with that Haas car. Jack as well, his teammate, all the way down in P12. I'm sure he'd be looking to do a little bit better here at the moment around Spa of round 7. But he's not doing too badly, but I'm sure he'll be looking to improve on that medium tyre at the moment. a lot of our drivers on track at the moment are looking at that tyre temperature screen, I'm sure. It's when you're in a safety car window, you're going a little bit slower than the F1 cars usually like. It's when the tyres begin to cool down a little bit, and you can see there, they're kind of snaking, weaving kind of pattern as they're trying to get some heat and some warmth into that tyre. The more heat you have, the more grip you have. But you've got to be careful from that window. If you go too hot, then you'll lose grip. But if you go too cold, you'll lose grip. So they need to be in that perfect, what they call an operating window. And that's what they're trying to get into at the moment. Being careful down some straights. Just keeping it down straight and level. Some straights. Giving it some weaving. But our drivers here today know what they're talking about. So let's see what they can do, shall we? It looks like the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. So Quake will lead us off on his more kind of worn hards. Number 2 though, we know he's fast. Werner and back switch positions, interestingly. During the safety car, I don't really know how or why, but he has done. And does give Werner P3, so there you go. A little bit of racing action, some would say. But as we go to the Sector 3 split, will be after this corner. We should, fingers crossed, see safety car in this lap of just about now. There it goes. Pretty much perfectly on time as well. And it is now Quake's time to see what he can do as we go towards lap 14. It'll be a sprint to the end. All 14 drivers trying to get some heat, any heat they can find into that tyre. Get that extra grip as they are going to fly towards turn 1. And it'll come down to when Quake goes, but it looks like he's gone already very early. Has the Mercedes car gone? Maybe caught the Aston Martin of Artem off guard a little bit there. Werner in the P3 is right up the chart, but yes, the Mercedes is away and it is go, go, go. Green flag running once again here in F1 Racing Club. Looking down the grid order, there's Darth Timms looking towards the inside of the Williams car. What can he do on the Monkey? He tries his best. A little bit of contact made, but that was Cairo, sorry. But he tried to make a move on. Cairo, with his teammate ahead of him of Monkey, who's now 2 seconds behind. Wolverine on that used hard tyres. Not what you want. He's really falling behind, holding up his teammate. His teammate maybe going to fall into the clutches of the Alpine car, but Artem gets himself onto P2, and oh my word, it was now P1. He goes on top of Mercedes, of Quake. These two, currently side by side as we go into turn 8, but were on top. But who does come off on top of this fight is Artem, the Aston Martin car. What a restart. We know that Quake's on the used hard side, which means he's going to have that less speed and the less grip as he goes a little bit wide there. Through P1 of 10 and 11. And now the McLaren car is on the chuff of him. Maybe the Mercedes car has been really, really soft over here in F1 Racing Club. Here they all go now up the straight towards turn 16. I called it a straight. It's more of a bend as we go through 16 and 17 here towards turn 18. There's your DRS extra point. It'll be activated as we go around the final few corners onto lap 15. But Quake has got to stay in that DRS detection point as we'll go back up the hill. As there's a fight going on at the back. We got kind of two trains going on. Darth Timms is leading that second train with Cairo trying to center on the outside. That is where Darth Timms hitting the inside wall, taking that apex far, far too close. Now going side by side, or trying to go side by side with the Williams car, but a little bit of front wing damage I saw flying off the Alpine car. Maybe just a little bit of debris coming off, but there goes the Red Bull as well. Ooh, it's going to be close as we go around the outside with the Alpine. The Williams on the outside manages to send it one back round as they went through turn 6 there towards 7. Now we're in 8. The Alpine sends it on the inside. These boys are putting on a right show. Dartims defending his position for P7. Lovely stuff there by the Alpine car. Looking towards this front train though, Artem is leading with Werner trying to stay close behind, but he's slowly falling further and further behind, and Quake looking slow on that used hard tyres. Liam maybe going to try and pounce on that disadvantaged Mercedes car as he is on that lovely fresh medium. Back on that lovely fresh hard though, is struggling just a little bit as the fresh medium is very quick. Let's see what Wolverine can do. Can he get past the Ferrari car? Looks to the outside. Can't do anything, but Quake comes into pit lane. He's decided it is time for him to come off that hard tyre. He's too much slower than his competitors around him. Unfortunate for him. It'll put him to the back of the pack with a good about, I don't know, maybe 7 seconds, maybe more, as he's going to lose a massive amount of time here as he pits not under safety car like the rest of the drivers. Werner has managed to stay in that DRS zone of Artem here at the moment. Up the straight, but we have a yellow flag. What's the yellow flag for? You look down our grid order, it's for this back pack. Iron Monkey and Quake has come out of his pit lane involved in that by the looks of it, but they've all come out maybe unscathed. We see it side by side. It's Evie and it's Jack, and Cairo's there as well. Jack going to the outside, maybe going for the switchback is Jack Crossley. What a move, but he goes a little bit too aggressive on the power, goes a little bit too tank slappery, and goes flying off on the exit of turn 8. Unfortunately for him, but he goes towards turn 10 and 11 with some serious overspeed. What can he do if he do go towards what will be turn 12 and 13? He gets another tank slapper, and Rocket gets in caught up in that, comes back onto the track. Fingers crossed he doesn't influence Black too much, but they're inside of each other now. Black will come out just there, the McLaren car. McLaren getting hindered just a little bit there by Jack, who got very tangled up there on the exit of turn 10, 9 and 12. Looking towards the Ferrari car now at the front fight. It's very close. There's not much time left in this race. Where has it gone? Back Powder is very fast, and he has got a little bit of extra speed now as we're going up the hill through Rouge and Radion. Here he goes. Oh, he goes off track a little bit there, getting a warning and a multiple time penalty warning, and he gets 3 seconds for that, but he is ahead of Wolverine and up to P4 as we go towards turn 5, 6 and 7. Fire the back, the Ferrari's teammate of back. This is Black going for a move on Quake. I think that was Quake actually making the move. My apologies. Very nicely done by the Mercedes car, chipping his way slowly through the grid. But he's now looking towards Jack and Cairo, trying to get himself to what could be a P8 here today. Needs a good point score as his title rival of Wolverine is currently only 64 points behind, but here in F1 Racing Club, P5 is not a bad point scoring a whole. It's about 23 points, I believe, maybe 28 points. And yeah, that's a lot more than Quake's, probably a lot less than that. So maybe Wolverine is going to get quite an advantage on his title rival. But let's see what the Ferrari of back can do as well, as he is looking fast. Darth Sims getting, oh, apologies for that. Darth Sims getting another I did it again. Darth Sims getting another 3 second time penalty at the moment, getting himself up to 6. The second driver to get a 6 second time penalty alongside Rocky there. No, you want, obviously, the time penalties go against your finishing time, and they cannot afford here at the moment to suffer that extra time as the grid is so close. each driver in their own independent fight. We look towards the front fight as Werner goes to the inside of Liam Raikkonen there. Goes around the outside of what was turn 6 and is ahead and up to P2 before turn 7. Absolutely beautiful move. We look down the grid order and we see Quake now trying to make a move on Cairo on that fresher medium tyre. Little bit of wheel banging. The rear tyre versus front tyre. But that is Quake up to P8. We are severely running out of time for things to change here in this race. And Artem is leading us by 3.7 seconds and is very, very quickly chipping time away through this grid. He has got about 3.8, nearly 9 seconds to Werner. Liam Raikkonen is only 4 seconds behind Artem, but only 3/10 behind the McLaren car, and is looking very fast. We've got to be careful as he is coming down towards lap 19. And there's a DRS straight, but there's also a move opportunity, and he tries it down the inside. Now round the outside, maybe trying to make a switchback. The McLaren covers it very nicely as he go on to the penultimate lap. The Red Bull car is sizing up a P2 here. The Ferrari car, though, is right up their chuff, and Wolverine knows what he's got to do for his championship fight. Alpine, though, could be looking for a good point hole as we see yellow flag, and it's Jack Crossley. Jack Crossley down in P11 now as he spun out of the final corner. Coming across the line onto lap 19. Unfortunate for him, he's down to P11, but we see Liam getting past as Jack gets a 10-second time penalty. Goes the yellow flag. Fingers crossed we have no safety car. I want to see some hardcore fighting to the end. Liam got past Werner as we were talking about that. And back is right there. He is right up the chuff of that McLaren car. A lot of our drivers making 2 stops. Everyone making 2 stops, apart from Rocky and Iron, who are on 3 stops. Let's have a look at the penalties, shall we? So there is your extra time penalties. You can add it. My maths isn't great, so I wish you the best yourselves to try and figure out who is going to end up where. Jacques, though, really struggling at the back, up to 19 seconds, as Quake, going round the outside of the Red Bull to the inside, gets himself a lovely P7 there. Obviously didn't get to pit on the safety car. Is showing some serious pace, but Jack has retired, and we have a VSC. VSC because of Jack's retirement. There he is in the background. You can't see him, but he is there, I promise you. Retiring from the session as he went round No Name, bringing out the VSC. Our driver's got to be careful now not to get a drive-through penalty once the FIA decide it is time to go green flag running again. Really unfortunate there for Jack, though. Not what he wanted, as I've dropped my Xbox controller. Let me grab that back. Ugh. There we go. Not what he wanted. He was doing so well. He was in P11 for a while, and he was fighting for around Cairo's position. But unfortunate for him. The VSC has given our drivers a lot of a chance to attempt to get some cooling done. Obviously, they've been fighting hard and fast, looking to try and, get some more track positions, what you want and need towards the end of this session. And so our drivers are fighting for, but now they are ready to go for about 2.5 laps of racing action. Liam is in P2 with Werner fighting for that P2. Wolverine and back are going at it for P4. Artem in P1 is got quite a demanding lead. All our drivers managed to survive the Delta window, keeping in that green, not getting a drive-through penalty. Obviously, we've seen it before. We don't want to see it again. It's quite unfortunate for drivers to suffer the drive-through penalty. If you don't serve it in time, it will be a DSQ. So they have to serve it but they've all survived here today. It's just about keeping it in track limits, and Quake is looking very, very fast on the exit there as he went through turn 15. Now going side by side with Darth Sims, but does get out ahead and up to P6, 13 seconds to the train ahead. I think that's the best he can do here at the moment in round 7, as we are on the penultimate lap here in F1 Racing Club. Where the time's gone, I have no idea, but Quake has now got to try and defend his P6 with all his might. He knows on penalties he should be fine, but Wolverine and back don't care about penalties and have switched positions, where Baz back up to P4, Wolverine dropping to P5. Autumn is looking very, very fast. He's in a little bit of a window where he doesn't really need to worry. He's got a lap and a half until he'll win here today in F1 Racing Club. Liam with his extra time penalty, unfortunately for him, will maybe drop him down the grid. Or Werner has fallen down the DRS though, and also has back. So our drivers at the front really, really falling out of range to bring it to the driver ahead of them. Wolverine is right at the chuff though, as I say that, of back, trying to look for a P4. A little bit of a lift there as he's in 8th gear, going towards the outside of the bus, which gets covered off by the Ferrari car. We'll go to the final lap now with our drivers here today in F1 Racing Club. Wolverine and back are going absolutely hammering tongue. Werner and Liam also going at it, but with the 3-second time penalty for back and Liam, it's going to change things on its head. Our drivers in the mid pack and rear of the field are also going for a serious fight, but Artem at the front is looking to have sealed a win here today. Here comes Werner looking to make a move. Same for Wolverine. Both of these drivers for this front fight not trying to make a move. We look towards Evie in P7, looking fast, but Darth Sims looking that little bit quicker. Who's got enough tyre life and battery to come out on top as we go down the straight? It will be Darth Sims with that DRS advantage, getting himself up to P7 at the moment. But with penalties, he's going to drop back behind, so he's got to try and find 3 seconds in the next lap. That's a tricky call. That is a tricky one to do. Let's see what we can do. We jump back to the front fight. It's going to be between Werner and Liam. Back and Wolverine. We know Back and Liam have that penalty, so it's going to be kind of off the cards for Liam and Back podium. Wolverine and Werner looking to get that P2 and 3, but Artem at the front of this field has shown an absolutely beautiful display. Number 93. The Aramco Aston Martin team will come round the final few corners. Here he comes to the line to win round 7 here in F1 Racing Club. And what a win it was by Artem. Werner went up P2. Wolverine P3. Our driver that didn't get any penalties, Liam and Buck for P5. Quake will get himself a very well-deserved P6 at the end of it. But we see Weavy and Darth going at it round the final few corners. Darth with the extra penalty will end up in P8. Evie P7 there, as Cairo gets a 3-second time penalty right at the end. But it doesn't matter as Black has got 1-2. So P9 for Cairo, P10 for Black at the end of this session. Rocky coming round towards the final few corners. It's going to be close between him and Monkey. 8 tenths separating them, as Rocky Freeman does have that 6-second time penalty to the line. At the moment, it's P11. What can the Williams do to try and get himself ahead of the McLaren? He has done, and he has by only 0.08 of a second. 8 tenths found by the Williams car in the final few corners. That is an absolute wonderful way to do it by the Williams car, getting himself a P11 by a whisker, by an absolute whisker. Here comes Iron now though, round the final few corners. He'll finish us off here around Spa-Francorchamps at round 7 here in F1 Racing Club, and he does end up in P13. 3 retirements, both the Haas cars and F crew. So that's Lee, Jack and F crew finishing off our grid here today. 16 drivers putting on a show, 13 drivers finishing off it. But there is Artem on your top step here today in the Aston Martin car, the Spanish driver, followed by the German and I believe Hungarian. My flags aren't the best, but I believe so. These 3 drivers put on a show here today. Beautifully, beautifully done. But that does end our race here today at F1 Racing Club, presented to you by the JCC Network. We do appreciate everyone for tuning here today with myself, GingerNut1107, putting on a show, as well as all your drivers. Quake getting that fastest lap at the end of the day, and only a few 3-second time penalties affecting some races. But I do appreciate everyone for tuning in, and fingers crossed you'll tune in again next week, as we'll be looking towards, as I will quickly have a look for you in the Discord calendar. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. Calendar. So we've just gone through Spa-Francorchamps. We're looking towards Monza next time, the Temple of Speed. So we hope to see you there, as the weather will be mixed once again. Other than that, it has been an absolute blast having you here in chat today, and